Welcome to another powerful episode of the Women Warriors Collab. I am here with your monthly mental health check-in with Dr. Phil, our own Dr. Phil, and we're excited. We are in the month of June, and it's time to kind of talk about this time of year and just mental health variables to look out for, how we can help during this time, and just to be aware, because mental health is so important, and as Dr. Phil says, you are worth it. So thank you again for joining.
Thank you so much. I love it here. I'm so happy to be back. Thank you.
I love having you on. So let's just jump right into it.
Sure.
Mental health, summertime, fine, shine, all the things. Let's jump right into it.
So gratefully, fortunately, people feel better in the summer. The sun is shining and it lasts until 9:30, and it's not dark at 4 o'clock and freezing. And so the stressors of school are over. So we had our graduations, and here we are spending time at the beach, and it's beautiful, and everyone feels better. Our mental health, our outlook, our worldview, we just feel so much better and healthier in the summer because we can do more things outside.
Yep.
We have family activities, and we just spend more time outdoors, and it really helps us. That vitamin D really helps us feel great. However, that's not the time to neglect your mental health.
Yep.
Spending time with families, doing things in the summer, the kids are home, maybe they're not in camp, or they come home from camp, you're still working. It gets a little stressful when everyone's home, especially when your kids come home from college. They've been away for quite a while, and they come home and they cause stress in the house. You're like, I love you, I miss you, I can't wait for you to come home. And then they're home for a week, and you're like, oh my God, when are they leaving? There's stuff all over the house. You have to food shop double. There's laundry. They're not getting along with the other siblings. Everybody needs a car. Everybody wants to be out and doing what they're doing. It's not the time to stop seeing your mental health professional. It's time to continue with your sessions. You don't have to go weekly or bi-weekly. Go once a month just for the check-in, because it does get stressful when all our kids are home, and the summer can be stressful for people. So don't neglect your mental health during the beautiful summer months.
Yeah, that's it. When we're feeling our best, we think that we don't have to keep up with it. It's kind of when you lose all that weight and you're like, no, I look good, I don't need to go to the gym, but then then not going creeps up on you again.
Exactly. Like once your sore throat goes away, you stop taking the penicillin, but then it comes back in 2
exactly.
weeks.
Take it for the full 10 days, guys.
Exactly. So keep up with your mental health regimen as long as, and take advantage of exercising, because remember, we look through everything through a holistic lens. Mind, body, spirit. We take care of our minds. We do our reading. We do our meditating. We see beautiful things in the summer at the beach. In our spirit, we feel good. We're faithful. We have to take care of our spiritual practices as well, our yoga, our meditation, do some swimming, keep up with those exercise activities as well, because that really you'll reap the mental health benefits from being active.
Yeah. So now, as far as, going out, getting that vitamin D, right? What other things would you suggest to somebody that may be struggling during this period of time, or maybe they think that they're okay? What other things could they do to upkeep mentally to make sure they're, on their game?
Having things to look forward to, like very rewarding activities that don't have to cost a lot of money, but things to look forward to read books that interest you, to spend time with friends, not just focusing on the family, but carving out some time just for yourself is the best self-care.
Yes.
And, I also think it's important to just be happy with the way that you look and the way that you feel, and maybe be at the beach, present at the beach, and not worried about what you look like in a bathing suit, because focus on what's important. What are your priorities? Be healthy. Being healthy and being fit is mental as well as it is physical.
Yes. And I love that you bring that up about not worrying, because I feel like, especially today on social media, everyone's photoshopped. Not everyone, but 99.9% of the people are photoshopped. And I feel like a lot of women, we kind of beat ourselves up to look like that perfect figure, right? So you're saying just kind of embrace it?
Yes, and you can't really swim in a Spanx swimsuit. I tried; it doesn't work. And you
can't breathe.
And the bubbas come out somewhere else. They squeeze them in one place and they come out somewhere else. It's not comfortable.
Yes.
We need to be comfortable. We need to be comfortable in our own skin.
Yes.
That's most important. That we're happy with who we are. Look, there's always room for improvement. Everybody wants to look great, but think healthy and fit, and not be so self-critical.
Yeah, I love the summer because, like you said, the sun is out a little bit later, and I just feel like being outside. Right now, I've been walking, and I've never been a walker, and I never understood the people that did walk, and I'm sorry that I didn't get you guys because now I do, because that's my alone time, right? And it's funny, I'll listen to a podcast, and I feel like it kind of resets where I am mentally, I think, from like a long day. So how does somebody make time for their mental health?
It has to be a priority. Either it's before you before you start your day, when you first wake up, it's something you're going to do then, or you carve out time in the middle of the day, or when you get home, where you have to shut your phone down. People know you're not available. That's why people do it in the mornings. As soon as the sun's out, I'm out there, I hit the pavement. I probably walk a total of 30 miles a week. I really try to do it every day, but I do it in the very beginning of the day, because once the day gets away from me, I won't carve out the time, or things just get too busy. That's something we really need to do. Exercise and our own mental health have to be a priority. I'm going to say it every time I'm on the show.
A non-negotiable.
Yep, it's non-negotiable. It's not a chance. It's a choice. We have to make the choice. We have to choose to be healthy mentally, physically, spiritually.
Yeah, thank you. These are some really great tips. It's funny because we don't realize that our day-to-day activities play such a big part in our mental health. Because I feel like we don't talk about mental health enough.
We don't. There's a big stigma around it. People think it's a sign of weakness, or maybe culturally you weren't encouraged to seek out mental health, or you think there's something wrong with someone. There's a lot of stigma around it.
Yeah.
So just doing something for yourself, taking the time to honor and respect yourself by being healthy, by taking that walk, listening to that podcast, hearing an audio book, sitting on the beach, thinking about what you're going to do for you is wonderful. If you could get a set schedule, you're more likely to keep it up.
Yeah. So kind of implement healthy habits when momentum or motivation dies down.
Exactly, because know full well, come September, October, you're going to be back in the gym, and everything you do is going to be indoors. Right now, we could eat al fresco. You're, seeing everybody outside.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful, and you just feel better.
Yes.
But, fall is coming, so we're going to have to be cognizant of really taking care of ourselves now and enjoying and taking advantage of the weather we have here at the Jersey Shore, because it is beautiful.
It is very beautiful. And it's a time
but temporary.
Yeah, I know. That's why I need to live where it's warm all year round.
And get out there and enjoy every second of it now.
Absolutely. Thank you for these tips. Now, also, June is a great month. It's also Pride Month.
Yes.
So let's talk about Pride.
Well, Pride is wonderful, and we always have to include our LGBTQIA.
Absolutely.
And as advocates for people, we need to really remember that there's a sensitivity around it. Let's bring awareness to that. Let's celebrate. We know in this political climate, there's maybe been some threats to federal funding for programs for our LGBTQIA community, and we need to be mindful and really aware that this is a population that we need to pay attention to and advocate for.
Absolutely.
That's really important. And, part of helping others is very cathartic, and it equates to improving your own mental health. It feels good to advocate for someone.
Yes.
So Pride Month, there's a lot of Pride festivals
Yes.
in Asbury, in New York, beautiful parades. Let's celebrate and think of it let's think of it as that, and be culturally and sensitive and have some humility.
Yeah. Let's celebrate. Let's celebrate our ladies and gentlemen, everything and all the things in between.
Exactly.
It's the differences, I feel like, in individuals that bring us closer together.
Right. And I'm proud, and we need to be proud.
Absolutely.
There's the word pride and all that it encompasses.
Yes. I mean, when you hear the word pride, I just automatically want to stick out my chest, right? I think of The Lion King. You could tell I have a young son at home. Because I'm referencing Disney movies. But that's the first thing I think of. And you know what? Love is love. And who you decide to love and want to love and all the things, it should be something that we celebrate. And hopefully everybody can find someone
and
that
show
they
our
love.
support by showing up to LGBTQIA events, showing up to what's happening in our Pride theaters and, in the arts and in the literature. We have to show up.
Yeah, that's the thing, is showing up. So mental health wise, because we're talking about Pride Month, are there any like stigmas or any topics that maybe you would want to kind of bring to the table that people should be more aware of?
I do. As a therapist who works with a lot of adolescents and a lot of emerging adults, I think it's important for parents to really begin to wrap their head around. There's a possibility that, your son or daughter may be part of that community.
Yeah.
And to really understand all that it encompasses and to get some good support and good advice for yourself. There's PFLAG and a lot of other memberships and, places that give guidance that you could seek out. You don't have to do it alone. And, I think also our young adolescents and our emerging adults need to know too that our parents aren't perfect. And I think education will really help as a family, but also individually. I think parents really need to wrap their heads around it and understand that maybe you think it might be a little harder, but it's your child and they're beautiful and we love them and support them in every way we can.
Absolutely. Again, it's Pride.
Exactly.
It's Pride Month. Phyllis, thank you again.
Shen, thank you for having me and giving us the platform to let people know what we want to talk about. Having our finger on the pulse of mental health is a dream of mine, and I thank you so much for this opportunity.
Oh my God, I'm honored that you even want to be on here. But this is what Women Warriors is about, right? It's meeting like-minded women, right? Where we're all so different, but we're all so alike. We all have dreams. We all want to help. We want to advocate. We want to inspire, motivate, tell our story. But, for you, just to dabble a little in your story, you went into your field a little later on, and you're just like amazing. You're everywhere. I feel like anyone that has a conversation with Phyllis, we learn something every time. So having you on is an honor. What would you say to somebody that decided to kind of get into the mental health field or maybe start over, at a different point in their lives?
Absolutely. I think that there's some intrinsic need. There's this internal pull that is drawing you to this field, and you really need to listen to that, because if you ignore it, it's just going to keep gnawing at you. It's just going to keep knocking. If you really feel like this is something you want to explore or you would be good at, you're probably right, and you need to go with that intuition. You need to go with those instincts.
Yeah.
It's never too late. I started my mental health journey well into my 40s. I went back to school when my daughter went off to college, and then I went back for my PhD. I was 50 years old.
Yeah.
And I love every second of it. I'm a professor at Monmouth University in the graduate department of professional counseling, and welcome. You're all welcome.
Yeah.
And returning students, women of a certain age, are very rich. They add a richness and a seasoning to the classroom experience. And I say, do it. Don't hesitate.
Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen? If you don't try, you'll never know. And that's a recipe for regret. And regret is harder to live with. And nothing is a failure. A success only happens when you try.
Yeah. And thank you. I know eventually everyone is going to want to know Dr. Phil's story, but that will be for another episode. But I just love that you come on here and that you want to share your insight, your expertise, because I just feel like this is a stigma, mental health. Like you said in earlier podcasts, it's like shush.
It's a box we have to crush.
Correct.
We have to make it okay for people to reach out for help, because when they don't, it gets worse. And the unimaginable can happen. We want people to know that mental health help is accessible, that it's easy to find, that people will help you find what you need. And I always say finding a therapist is like speed dating. In the first 5 minutes, if it's the right person, if you ever want to see them naked, if it's the right therapist or not, very early on, there's a connection to be made, and it's transpersonal and it's spiritual, and finding the right therapist is amazing. And it's someone that you could see throughout your life, and it can help you with your family issues, with your relationship issues. We cannot neglect our mental health. And that, to all our women out there, all our women warriors, we have to carve out that time for ourselves. Our mental health should be part of our self-care. The same way you get a manicure, pedicure, or get something done is the same way you should include those appointments coming up regularly with your therapist.
Absolutely. And thank you. And thank you for being an advocate for women and their mental health, because this needs to be said. These conversations need to be had. And this is for women of all different ages, like different levels. And it doesn't matter your mental health, no matter where you are, you need to check in and find the right person. Listen to Dr. Phil. So, Phyllis, where can people find you? Let them know.
Find me in Brielle, where my private practice is, at Exhale Healing Arts, and the website is exhalehealingartsllc.com. And you can find me on Instagram at Meet the Real Dr. Phil.
Thank you, Phyllis.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you. Guys, so if you are watching this episode, if you have seen it, drop any questions, any comments, like it, share it. Mental health is real. Mental health is imperative, and you are worth it. These are the words of Dr. Phil. I have my own Dr. Phil. Make sure to get yours. And Women Warriors, this is why you tune in, because you sit with us. The conversation is different. Thank you for everyone tuning in. Have a good day.